Hello world, how are you? We have some Q&A to do. I hope you're doing fine, cause it's Q&A time again. Well, look at those purple flowers. What are those? Oh, that's the angustifolia leaf. And the white ones, that's the Brazilian pennywort. Very cool, very cool. Absolutely loving this tank. Hope you guys are all having a great Friday, a great week. Thank you all for joining me for another Friday Night Live Q&A where you can ask the community and I questions on keeping aquarium fish, shrimp, and plants. So pretty much anything that has to do with keeping freshwater aquariums. If you got the question, then hopefully we have the answer. I don't have all the answers. I know quite a bit because I practice with hundreds of tanks, but if I don't know, there is so many amazing people in this chat that can help us out as well. All right, so just getting settled down. Been doing some water changes with the ladies, and yeah, just been super busy. I didn't get to bed till 10 o'clock this morning, and like took a power nap, got back up, back to work. Over here, cleared this whole area out, even though I'm not supposed to show you that yet. It doesn't really matter. But I hope you guys are all doing great. Hello, 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 everybody in the chat. And Derek Runyon says, check your email. Yes, I did see that, and Sarah should be getting a hold of you. I did mention it to her. We'll get you taken care of. Don't worry about it. And Austin Kathy, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Super appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for the support. Looking for them questions. Lots of awesome people in here. How do I get rid of green hair algae? So green hair algae actually comes up usually due from excess nutrients, not enough water changes. So either over fertilization, overfeeding, not enough water changes, that is all a cause of green hair algae. So if you can help balance those three areas, then you should have better chance of not getting green hair algae. So even when your leaves decompose as well, it helps to get like your plant leaves material out of there because it'll add extra organics too that the green hair algae can eat off of. But besides that, just manually remove it and do your water changes on a consistent basis, and that'll help a lot. Ted Kopinski, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you, Ted. Glad to have you in here, bro. Got my shrimp and guppy grass today in the mail. Thanks, bud. You are welcome, Rich Clough. Thank you so much for the order and support. And I guess some of the orders are showing up for Monday shipping. Not really sure why. Shipping was going fairly fast there for a while. But I wouldn't worry about it. I've had a lot of those fish and shrimp last in the mail and plants for up to a month. So I actually just pulled Patogeton, something like that. Patogeton Guyai, G-A-Y-I, out of the van. And it's been in there since I went to North Carolina, which I believe that was in March, sometime early March, or either late February. And it's been outside and it actually lived out there. It's pretty crazy. It's like eating off of itself. So like the decaying parts is sort of becoming its dirt and it's like running roots to it and eating off of itself. But it's still alive in the bag. It's the craziest thing. I thought I'd share that story with you. William Booth says, do you keep an eye on your discus pH? If so, what do you keep it at? Thinking about trying to acclimate them to my pH of 7.5. So no, actually I don't read off of pH at all. It's been forever since I've tested my pH. I know it comes out of the tap really high, like 8.6 or something like that. But that could also be tricky because it can come out as per hydrogen too. So pH meters and tests can also kind of blindside you every now and then. I like to go off of TDS when I'm really looking at the hardness. That's what I go for. But they make discus so hardy these days that it's not really hard to keep them. They really don't, like mini discus, you can keep them in 400 TDS, high hard water, or even low soft water. Now some do vary. It depends on the source as well you get them from. So some discus are babied, some aren't. So keep that in mind as well. But they're really not that fragile. I think the hardest part about keeping discus is the fact that they're cichlids, and we often forget that they're cichlids, and they act like cichlids, and if you have a whole bunch of them together, they get the hierarchy, and then they'll get to pecking at each other, which causes problems on the fish, which in turn we think the tank's causing. So then we overmed, and then just problems snowball from there, when it's just usually an aggression issue. So always watch your fish too. Your fish will tell you all kinds of stuff. Joseph Davis says, little white worms on glass, harmful, clean tank, and they seem to increase. So, it really depends. There's a lot of little white worms out there. As far as like being harmful, they're not harmful. They can be unsightly. Unless they are Hydra, which Hydra kind of branches off of the glass instead of like squiggles around and eats off the glass. It actually just attaches and hangs on. And that's usually only an issue for fry. Anna Walker says, help, need a couple of our Neocaridina females are throwing eggs. Any suggestions? So if they're throwing eggs, like letting go of them, maybe they don't feel comfortable enough to have the babies where they are. I always recommend rock piles. Rock piles are great for making them a nice, comfortable area that doesn't get disturbed. And when I talk about rock piles, I'm talking about like the little like pebbles, and you just bunch them up and create a pile that way, and makes them feel a lot safer. And it is common if they're new to your tank too, for them to drop their first clutch. But really, you don't want to intervene. The best thing to do is not intervene. Do not separate your shrimp females from breeding and stuff like that, or it'll cause problems. Bill Jenham, thank you so much for becoming a member. I appreciate the support. That is awesome. Thank you so much. Dana Harris, thank you for the $20 super chat. Holy cow. It says, hey Lucas, have you ever bred highway catfish? Have a good one. So I have it, and matter of fact, I've never even heard of a highway catfish. Let me see. I gotta see what this is. I'll share with you guys too on here what it looks like for those who don't know. Highway 41 catfish. Let me see if I can find a good image. Looks, oh, that thing is cool. Yeah, you guys gotta see this. Well, thank you, Dana Harris, for the support and for sharing this. Boom, check that thing out. Joseph Davis says, thanks, Lucas. They're just little squiggly worms. I won't worry too much. Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much. You can use Pancuracy dog dewormer for those, but I mean, they're all part of the ecosystem. It's not gonna hurt anything. That thing's beautiful. I'm guessing it's looks like that when it's small. Does it get bigger and like this guy, or does it actually stay like that? See, a lot of times these little catfish, they'll look beautiful, but do they actually stay that size? I'm not sure. Really cool though. I think I reached my tab limit though. For sure. Now it just hides them from me. I don't know. I probably got to change my settings on that. Holy cow, Muddy Waters, my brother. Throwing down the $24.24 super chat. Thank you, Muddy Waters. Thank you so much for the support again. Absolutely awesome. Thank you, brother. Man, I love you guys. You guys make it all worth it, I'll tell you that. Lucas, have you ever seen a type of algae that is purple with tentacle-like things coming out of it? So, yes, that's a staghorn algae. And hydrogen peroxide can kill that. It's kind of like BBA, how you get rid of BBA. Water changes will help too, manual removal. Neos will do great at 68F. Yes, they will. Mark them all. Is fish keeping your full-time job? Yes. It's actually not even a job. It's more or less a lifestyle. Like, this is what I live, eat, and breathe every day. Then hanging out with my son and family. Good night. What fish do you keep with your shrimp? So I really don't keep a lot of fish with my shrimp. I prefer not to combo them, especially if I'm gonna breed them out. But often fish end up into my shrimp tanks, especially when I'm trying to raise up fry, because I get a lot of microorganisms in those tanks that I can raise my fry from that give them a natural food at their most vulnerable state. But besides that, I mean, I usually try to keep them separated just because it's easier. Now I've kept Synodontis lace cats like that big, rainbows that big, with thousands of orange shrimp. But that was in a 180-gallon bow front that had massive rock piles. Like, this is a 240-gallon behind me. And it was just like loaded with rocks all the way up. Like, it was humongous. It was nothing but a huge Anubias. There's some older videos, which those older videos are kind of cringe, but I mean, we all learn and on how to do this YouTube stuff. Getting better. Dog-sized blue bolts, count me in. Ooh, count me in. I need to get my shrimp more organized here. Any aquarium plants still on your bucket list? Not really. I think I've been through pretty much most all of them. I mean, I can't say that because there's hundreds and hundreds, but yeah, no, there's not many I haven't had. I've killed a lot of plants, let me tell you that. I keep a lot of plants, but I've also killed a lot of plants. Plants are actually what got me into the hobby more than anything. Once I learned you can put plants in a fish tank, it was game over. I stuck a sword, an Amazon sword. It took over a 30-gallon. And I thought that was the coolest thing. And then threw some creeping Jenny in with it. And then next thing you know, I'm on the internet, on a forum, planettank.net, Aquatic Plant Central, Monster Fish Aquaria. There was a ton of them back then. And man, that's what really hooked me, because you can get all the good stuff off of the trades and swabs, stuff that you can never find at stores. Nowadays, Facebook groups are actually good for those kind of rarities. But they'll cost you sometimes. Like that Ferrigenia crypt I got in there and on my site, that thing cost me $100 a piece. I think I sell it for like 20. Rich Clough says, do you think I could start a betta online store, or would it fail? And how hard and costly is it to ship fish such as bettas? So the thing about business is there's a lot of variables. There's a lot of ways to do it. If you're breeding and taking your time building your business up slowly and rolling it into a business, you'll probably have more success instead of like trying to throw a bunch of money at it. Then hope you've already gained that experience in a short time. If you do it in a slow manner, you're going to gain those little experiences as time goes. And if you breed your own, you're not going to have any overhead to have to account to. And if you do importing, then you're definitely going to have some upfront costs there. You're going to have to learn how to ship. Anything's possible. If the passion is there, if the willingness is there, you've got to have that will to keep pushing. To like say, screw that, I'm not doing this because I got to do this. And if you got the focus, then really you could do anything. I mean, we've got a lot of utilities out here to help us, individuals, anybody, everybody within the marketplace of the internet and our connectability to really make the sky the limit, regardless of whether it's aquarium fish or anything else that you love to do. You just got to get creative. You got to think outside of the box, which is hard because we're indoctrined for like 12 years to do it a certain way, you know. But if you really think about things and how big things really are and how connected we are. I mean, there's 200 million some people in the US alone. That's a lot of people. So I hope that answered your question. Let's see. Oh, wait. Patrick Nedley, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Says, sup, Lucas? Been watching Father's Fish video on substrate. It was great. He suggests a deep sand cap 4 inches plus on a large tank. Seems like small plants would have a hard time rooting. Your substrate thoughts? So definitely, I think that's a good idea. I mean, more rooting space with the sand. The roots really have no problems pushing them through. They can even fuse together. Bill Angelopoulos, I'm sure I murdered that last name, but Bill, thank you so much for that tip jar. And many of you guys have left me some tip jars too. I want to thank you. Unfortunately, I don't always get a notification for that, but I do want to thank you. That came back in. So back to your question, Patrick, and thank you for your support as well, Patrick, and always great to see you. Yeah, so the plants with the 4-inch plus sand, definitely go for it because it's going to give them nice deep rooting. Big reason why I actually clean this out is because I've got a big plan for this table. Oh, whoa, that's a great shot of my forehead. But a big plan for this table to have more of a pond, which I plan on doing a really deep substrate for that. Man, it's looking good over there. I gotta do some scraping though. We gotta get through this. Man, but this thing, whoa. All right, back to questions. And sorry about my forehead there. It gets kind of big sometimes. Let's see, Lucas, what is your favorite fish for a Planet 20 long? Rasboras, tetras, corridoras, killifish, rainbow fish, Danios, mountain minnows, white clouds, or well, those are mountain minnows. Plecos, you can do all kinds of stuff with the 20 long. Let's see, the dwarf cichlids. Even Shelleys. Shelleys are cool. So there's all kinds of ways to do it. Like, definitely do your research, look around all the different fish, because it's easy to just jump on a fish and be like, ooh, I want that one. And then the next day you go to the fish store the next week, then they got something else odd in, and you're like, ooh, I want that, but then I don't have space. And that's why you get another tank. And that's how you become an aquarium hoarder. Kyle King says, Ivory Aquatics, hi, I have two 110-gallon tote ponds I breed guppies in last year here in Northern California. Looking to challenge myself. Any ideas on what would do good in Northern California? So, I know you guys get cooler up there in Northern California, and it really depends on if you're closer to the coast or if you're closer to the other side of the state. That could make a huge difference. But white clouds, the golden white clouds, they can do all right in underneath the water. Besides that, I really don't personally know, because I think it gets freezing over there. I'm not like the weatherman in Northern California. Maybe somebody in the chat can help them out though. Let's see. There's 200 million fish in my house alone. Maybe, close. Probably like 19,999,999. Lucas, what is your favorite flavor? I already answered that one. I don't know how I got to that. Oh, I'm in top chat too. My bad. Sarah hasn't told me yet. She usually reminds me on here. And Candy, as always, thank you so much, Candy, for all you do. Absolutely amazing woman. Absolutely amazing. What is your thoughts on the Zist bio bubble? And your tanks are amazing. Bio bubble. I don't know if I know what that is. Is that filter for Zist? Is this filter or is that something else? But thank you for mentioning my tanks are amazing. I think they need a lot of work. They could use a lot of work. But considering I balance hundreds of aquariums, I think they do look pretty good considering what's involved and the fact that I don't always change the water. John's Fish Room favorite moss, definitely Pilo moss. Usually I don't pick favorites, but that Pilo moss, it's hardy, super hardy. You can grow it into like almost no light. So if I'm like setting up my little quarantine sections and I need a little moss for them all, I always use that Pilo because they don't get much light and they're just cool with the ambient light. That Pilo is. Lucas, thanks for the beautiful plants and Moscow guppies I bought from you. I really appreciate the extra baby fish you sent me. Well, you're very welcome, and thank you so much for the support and the order. Deep fried apple pie in my eye. Love that name. Love me some apple pie too, dang. I wonder how many people read your name and are just like, ooh, I want me some apple pie. I can imagine that happens. And yes, Joseph's leaving the island, JH Aquatics, coming to the mainland. He's crazy. I'm trying to get to where he is. Oh, and I see my brother's picture up here. I know that. Daniken Aquatics, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Says, what up, brother? What's up, Ken and Danny? Love you guys. Thank you so much for the support. I appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Hello, guys. Do you have problems with your killifish jumping out of tanks? Yo, yes. Killifish are very well-known jumpers. They love to jump. Even if you train them to not jump, they will still want to jump because they're just crazy. Out in the wild, naturally, they jump from different puddles and pools and ponds, and if they can. JH Clark says, Lucas, when are you going to come to visit? Dude, definitely would love to come and visit. Especially when all this shenanigans is over. I am going to kind of chill back on, like, leaving, like, every other weekend, because that stuff was grinding on me. And I've got enough to grind out here. Like, so much to do here that I really need to start spending more time here. But I do want to go visit there. I mean, how could I miss that? Amber of Big City Bettas and JH, Joseph Harden of JH Aquatics, same household, total fish nut couple, like deep, way deep in the fish hobby. Like they're addicted, hooked. Should be interesting. And I can't wait to see what all comes from all that. DMC Production says, Lucas, how is Wesley's tank doing? It's actually doing really good. And I definitely need to get back into it and get that stuff videotaped. There's so much I've been wanting to videotape for you guys, but there's so much I've been having to grind out here. And I have to thank you all. Thank you all for your support who ordered this last week. 90 plus orders. It was insane. So that kept us real busy this week. And I appreciate you all for the support and orders, especially during these times. Very helpful. And that's what I thought it was. Tank tested. Alex, my brother, thank you so much for the super chat. Says, thanks for the box of goodies and the late night entertainment. Well, you are very welcome. And I hope you enjoy those plants. And thank you so much for the super chat and for stopping by and saying hi. That means a lot to me. So thank you, Alex. And if you guys don't know who Tank Tested is, he actually worked for or does National Geographic documentaries. He's also got a YouTube channel with some really cool content. Really cool guy. I got to meet him a few times at different places, like the Aquashella and Aquatic Experience and stuff. Hi Lucas, haven't been on for a while. How are your Shelleys doing? Thanks. They're actually doing good. We can change up the scene here a little bit and look at them for a while. They're living in a planted tank, unlike most Shelleys. They do need a little cleaning of the algae, which is super easy. I'll just pull that out. They probably haven't had their water changed for a month. They don't care. They love it in here. Then I've got some more up at the top, and they're having babies. You can see how colorful they are. They get really dark colorations because they're super heavy. They like those dirty old tanks. Bill Jenham, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you, Bill. Let's see, planted tank about a year old, had baby mystery snails about 7 months ago, fish, etc. But about 2 months ago, snails started dying. Any ideas why? So mystery snails about 7 months ago. Fish, etc. Good. About 2 months ago, snails. Maybe lack of calcium, lack of food, possibly. So lack of hardness within your water. Those would be my guesses. Those are usually the two factors that'll have or start causing issues with snails and disappearances. So not enough to the other side. I love how they dig their little pyramids and stuff. And these are actually kept with some guppies. I know it's not the cleanest tank, but still pretty cool. But thank you for the support and the help there, Bill. I hope that helps you. And Lightning01, great to see you again, buddy. Throwing down a $20 super chat, holy moly. Says, I see you're still rocking videos. Happy birthday to little man. Buy him a milkshake. Hit that like button. Thanks to the mods. Yes, he will enjoy that. So thank you, Lightning01. One of his favorite things are milkshakes, especially the M&M milkshakes. And yeah, still rocking these videos when I can. And I'm really hoping to pump out a bunch of them. I've got like a list just so long of them. But I know, I mean, you can have all the ideas in the world. It's just execution. And hopefully one day soon, I will be able to just knock out like a bunch. I want to get like a week where I can get ahead like 10 or so videos. That way I just have a continuous stream of like videos maybe every other day or something for you guys. But it's a process, you know. You can see how long it's been since I've changed the water. Definitely need some top off there. Faux show. Oh man, I wish those cord cats. Hey, what are you doing over here? That Shelley jumped tank. So yeah, Shelley fish can jump. There's some tetras. Golden Medecas. Now those guys are cool. Muddy Waters, thank you again for the awesome support. Throwing down to $11.11 super chat. Says like it. Awesome, bro. Awesome. I like it too. Thank you, Muddy Waters, my man. Hopefully I didn't miss any of those. Hate to be that guy. Scrolling. I found 3 lamp-eye killies in a completely different tank, which was probably 3/4 inches from the tank they started in. Interesting. We got some lamp-eyes up here, the Norman eyes. And they're absolutely beautiful, especially if you get a light, like a flashlight on them. Let me see if I could do that. Probably, I don't know. I'd have to have the lights off. But they're tiny little guys. All right, my arm's sore actually from holding this, so I am scooting on back here. Been digging at that yard and moving all this stuff around. Get my exercise. It's good for me. Let's see. Hey, Lucas, is IG live in your future? So no, I don't usually IG live like ever. I have an Instagram and Facebook. I do have a bunch of pictures I've been meaning to flood over there. I just haven't done it yet. I mean, it's all about prioritizing right now, and just the way it is, and the Instagram and Facebook don't get my love. So you guys here on YouTube, you guys are the ones that really get to see me. So I appreciate you all. What plant is that floating? That was a Taiwan Lily. Really cool plant. Like, usually you just plant it down in a substrate, but it makes an awesome floater for sure. Sweet. And it'll actually propagate just off the leaves, which is really cool. You know, I got it up just to show you that, so you guys can go to my website to buy it. Shameless plug, I guess. I mean, I don't sell myself often, but hey. Hey, whoa! Careful about knocking you guys over. Hey, Mile High Plecos, yo yo. Plecos are cool, or the coolest. Igor Anonymous says, is your wife working from home during the end of the world? So yes, she is, which has been a huge help. Huge help. And that's why we've been getting more done around here. But not having Haley around and the help, that kind of sucked, and kind of still working on managing all that. Let's see, what's your thoughts on a no-filter Blackwater aquarium without any plants? Do you think it is possible? Yes, definitely. JH Aquatics actually had a nice Blackwater tank. I don't know if it was no filter though. You want to do like small water changes here or there, but having the no filter will actually help you keep that Blackwater in your aquarium as well. So yeah, definitely doable. And Jen Alvarado, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Jen says, keep it up. Well, thank you. Love the motivation. You guys are awesome. Seriously. It'd be so hard to be motivated to do all what I do without you guys. That is a fact. 100. Let's see. Ivory Aquatics, how long do you go? We go for an hour. We're at 31 minutes already. Chris Tajada says, just got another 10-gallon tank. Any ideas of what fish to put in there? Oh yeah, definitely. So I would definitely go with the fish you like the best and what catches your eye, and one that will fit in there comfortably. And definitely check them out first. That way, you don't end up putting like a pacu in a 10-gallon or something, or a red-tailed catfish. Alfred Wayne says, I have some aggressive peacock gudgeons, but everything I have read says they are peaceful. Is it just luck of the draw? No, they can be aggressive for sure. They can be a little bit nippy. Usually if they're like in breed mode especially. But for the most part, they can't like really do much damage. So technically they're still considered peaceful. I think that's how it works. They kind of show some aggression, but they can't really do anything about it. Deep fried apple pie in my eye says, yo Lucas, what do you think is better lighting for aquatic plants? A plant bulb for house plants or aquarium LEDs? Really, if you want to know the best one, in my opinion, is a CFL 6500K. That's the best one in my opinion. A strong one, like the strongest one you could get. But you don't want a whole bunch of those because you'll end up having way too much radiation in your house. I could never do it in here because I've got too many tanks. But if I only had like a few tanks spread out, those CFLs, I would definitely all day, any day, put those on a tank over any other light. And I think it's due to that radiation because, I mean, you get radiation from the sun too. And the plants absolutely love it. But as far as like the plant, like house plant bulbs, I've never actually tried those out. I was actually looking at one today at Home Depot, but it didn't seem like it was strong enough. It only had like a couple hundred lumens or something. I'm like, how is this even gonna do anything? So I didn't even buy it. And aquarium LEDs, I've been using those for a long time. Or you could get the shop light LEDs, they're cheap too. Sunco makes some nice ones that I've been using that have been able to withstand the humidity and everything. Often with the shop lights, that tends to be the biggest kicker, but these are so far doing all right. John's Fish Room, awesome, says, haha, adding stuff to my cart now. That's awesome. Well, thank you, John's Fish Room. I appreciate that. Cold water shrimpies good with bare bottom guppy fry. I mean, the guppy fry are gonna sleep on the bottom of the tank. And when it comes to bare bottom, at least please paint the bottom. I am not a fan of bare bottoms and the reflections that it gives fish. And the shrimp don't prefer it as much. Like, yeah, you can keep them on it, but they like to have, they like something underneath their feet that's not all slippery, something that they can grip to. They like that grip. Mark Von Wisco says, how long do golden white clouds have to be before they breed? I'm guessing like a year or two. I don't think they have to be that old. But I think they may be seasonal spawners, because mine have been tricky. Like, I noticed in the last couple years, they only tend to breed around the springtime. So I think that's the issue with those. You would think, being a white cloud, they'd just breed all the time, but a lot of people that I talk to have the same situation. But I've also heard other people say that theirs just breeds forever for them. So I don't know. I really don't know. I've tried to figure it out. Brian Langfeld, can you give me a shout out? There you go, Brad. Oh, I did call you Brian. I mean Brad. Oh, there you go, Brad Langfeld. The shout out. Hope all's good with you, dude. Drew Tracy says, what plants do you recommend for a 10-gallon? Oh man, there's a lot of choices you could do. You got stem plants that are great for your background, your midground, crypts that are great for your midground. Definitely not a sword plant, that would overtake it. I would definitely go for like the smaller plants, maybe like crypts, euros, maybe a few stems of like some rotalias. Rotalias tend to stay small, Luigias tend to stay small. Your Wentii crypts will stay small. Your specialty types of crypts will stay small. Taiwan Lily is a good one. Pearlweed's always great. Let's see, what else? You got Sagittaria, that's a great one. The grasses, all the grasses, mosses, excuse me, Anubiuses. I'm just looking at plants and naming them off for you. Dun, 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 dun. So I hope that helps. There's a lot of choices. Definitely just look at them all, and definitely look at how big they can grow, because there's a lot of plants out there in the aquarium hobby that can get huge and just bust out of tanks. And which isn't always a bad thing, because it can be really cool too. For example, this tank that's right in front of me, where this plant is a Hygrophila angustifolia, is just completely busting out with the Brazilian Pennywort. And with this Brazilian Pennywort, I mean, bro, this is cool. With it just hanging down like a vine. Look at that. I never even knew Brazilian Pennywort would do that until I let it just become a jungle, you know. But, I mean, it can't always be bad, as you see. Touches, everybody's hungry right now. Look at that, rummy nose in there too, which is supposed to be a sensitive fish. But no, it's all about keeping your fish comfortable and getting a good source of fish. Makes a big difference too. You see them up here trying to eat things. Want to see a tortoise eating a snail? Not so much. Carson Spinny Barger says, I have 10-gallon plant tank outdoors and was thinking about throwing some cherry shrimp in there to breed. Have you ever done a shrimp tank outdoors? Is that a good idea? If so, are there any tips? So yeah, definitely a good idea. Go for it. Shrimp are super hardy. They can tolerate high temperatures, low temperatures. And yeah, definitely go for it. They love to eat like the stuff that falls into it. Like all the pollens and leaves and bugs and stuff. They love to eat all that stuff. They'll breed like crazy out there. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. Hey, what's the catfish in the big tank behind you? Oh man, you guys always ask me, and there's not like a specific name for them. They call them the mini shark catfish. The Latin name starts with the P, pedalopus or something like that, something a puss. But they're really cool. That's as big as they get. A lot of people confuse them with the grass cutter, African grass cutter cats. But these actually stay smaller. Don't get as big as those. Which red plant do you think is the easiest? Well, it depends on how red you're talking. Macaranda could be pretty easy. The Luigi arcuata, it's get like pinkish, orangish, yellowish, and can get some reddish to it, so that kind of depends. Rotalia colorata could get some reddish to it. Rotundifolia can get some reddish to it. And those are both Rotalias, which are pretty easy to keep. Don't require CO2 or any like real special care. It's just getting a good source of them, that's the problem. Let's see, has anyone asked it yet? Can I be the one this stream? Oh man, Mark Devil, you got me. Oh, it says, how do I get rid of Planaria? You are the one, you are the one. So Pancure C dog dewormer, 0.1 grams per 10 gallons. And you wait 72 hours. Then repeat the dose after you do a 25% water change. And then repeat that like 2, 3, 4 times until they're gone. But Pancure C dog dewormer. Do watch out though, because it can kill mystery snails. It would not be a Friday Night Live Q&A without that question, so thank you, Mark Dibble. Appreciate you, brother. And I know you got to be laughing over there. Let's see, Henry Chavez says, what about a tiger lotus? Yes, 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 thank you, Henry. That is a great, the matter of fact, there's one like staring at me right in the face here. So those can get really red. As long as you trim them down, because often they'll want to shoot one up trying to get to the top surface. If you cut that one off, it won't stretch towards the top. It'll actually stretch more towards the bottom. So you can keep it low and keep that red really into it. And they're super easy to keep. Super duper easy to keep. I love getting real close. Look at the scales there. Hold still, fish. There you go. Such a beauty. Such a beauty. If you ever had a swimming pool, what fish would you keep in it? Pretty much the kind of fish I keep now. So I'd be throwing my barbs in there, my discus in there, my rainbow fish in there, my panagars, my tetras. All of them. All the little fish. All the little fish in the big waters. And that way you'd have like huge schools of like tetras swimming around, because you'd have like a school of dwarf neons all clumped up in one area, a school of cardinal tetras clumped up in one area, school of like these barbs clumped up in an area, school of the bigger rainbows clumped up in an area. Then maybe I'd get like some, I don't know what I would use for like a couple bigger fish that they were like the like really stood out. I don't know what I would do for those. Some huge Ultima Angels maybe, or I guess that would be my discus. I guess that would be my discus. But yeah, I want to do something like that. As you can tell, I've definitely thought about it. Yeah, that would be a pool to swim in for sure. Definitely, 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 definitely would be a pool to swim in. I would love to see that one day. That is like dreams, goals right there. One day, one day. And what would be even cooler if I could make like the swimming pool to have like the post. So imagine in my imagination here, you got a post or whatever, and then you still have like the wall. That way you could still see in it. I think that would be cool. How they have like those, they have some of those at hotels and stuff. So it's definitely doable. And even have it all planted out. You know I'd have to plant it. Oh, D. Kirkbride says Ultima Angels are pure evil. Interesting. Well, maybe I don't want those guys. I know discus can have their moods, but I didn't know that about Ultima Angels. I've never actually kept them. Deep fried apple pie in my eye. Let's get bowling ball and tear up some streets. Actually used to bowl leagues back in the day. On Sundays, because I didn't have nothing else to do. My brother was in a league, and I was like, oh, that looks like fun. Let's see, Silent Water says, my blue star endlers arrived safe and sound. Thanks so much. Are there any other strains of endlers you want to work with? So there's a ton of strains of endlers I would love to work with, which actually was my biggest problem this year and why I have like no room in my fish room, because the fact that I ended up buying way too many strains of endlers this year. So I've kind of went through that, which, I mean, I should have done a better job sharing which strains and all the different strains. There's actually a channel on here, Carlos Diaz. He sometimes is in the chat. I know he's a long-time watcher for a while there, but he actually does a great job at documenting and cataloging all sorts of different types of endlers. A lot better job than I do, for sure. But there are tons out there, some really beauties. And I do plan on bringing some more out for you guys. I just got to get them all, the numbers up before I do. And I am planning on adding a few new things. I have started, I think I added a couple things like midweek on the website in this special buy section. And then I've got a few more I'm planning on adding here soon. Multi-Tank Addiction, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says, besides guppies or shrimp, what other fish do you recommend for someone to start breeding for profit? Let's see, definitely killifish, which are a labor of love to breed, but we need more people breeding them. There's definitely not enough for them, and there's a huge demand for them. So, and then I would say rainbow fish. I mean, really, you can do it any way. Tetras, like, you can sell fish regardless. There'll always be a buyer. It's just how creative are you going to be about selling the fish? What lengths are you going to go to sell the fish? I got to get a seat. I got to figure this out. After moving everything around, I don't know where to sit. Ooh. I guess I'll push this up here. Whoa. All right. So scrolling, I have 180 killi eggs on the way. That's awesome. Did you get them off the eBay site and do that whole thing? Or you just add water, you get them in, order them online? That's always fun to do. I love doing that. So if you guys ever have thought about that, and I did mention this last Friday, but try out those eggs on eBay. It's actually a fun thing to do. You can get killifish eggs. Comes in a little peat moss package envelope, tells you what date to add the water. And you just add regular RO water or just like rainwater. And then you get these little fry that come out. And you could either, I feed crushed up food. You could either feed up crushed up food, or you could get into like microworms or glass eels or infusoria. There's all kinds of things on to feed babies. Micron foods out there as well. Leighton Burger. And thank you again, Multi-Tank Addiction, for that super chat. Leighton Burger says, I want to make an eco-complete tank and a deep substrate tank. Would capping it with sand work? If so, what sand do you suggest? So yes, you can. I really like the Carib Sea natural sands. Also, keeping in mind the contrast of your fish and whether they'll camouflage into the color of sand that you choose. So that's one thing to think about when you're doing that. But yeah, you can totally cap it. Let's see, John's Fish Room says, do you have any full red albino guppies? Show us the black Moscows. So I do, but I don't have many of the full red albinos. I have some, actually, I believe these are what you're talking about. The problem with these, yeah, see, they got the red eyes. The problem with these is they always eat their young. Like, seriously, there's so much room here for their babies to go live and hide. But no, nope. They'll hunt them down and eat them all the time. So, like her, I actually should take her out, put her in one of my small containers, and then wait for her to have babies and then get them. But unfortunately, my time does not allow me to do that because I am always dictated by prioritization. And I am working on that to be able to do more of that, because definitely I have thought about it for sure, if you can't tell. So let's go on in here and we'll have a look at the black Moscow guppies. Which we're actually changing water in here right now. Boom, fire nice. These guys are actually in some green water. Oh, scroll up. But you can see the females actually have a lot of color on them too. A lot of black color. A bunch of nuri crept in there. Super green, which you can actually see this was green, this was green, this was just as green, but over time, after no water changes, the nutrients have finally started to be absorbed and it is balancing itself out. Why? When it happens, you can see this one's not as bright as that one, and it's starting to do that yellowish tinge. So hopefully they're starting to get balanced. I have noticed with the sand tanks, it is harder to balance the no filter tanks. They tend to get the green water more often. I think it's just because there's not enough beneficial, or the beneficial bacteria load isn't as heavy as in like Eco Complete, where there's a lot of beneficial bacteria can get into that lava rock, which helps consume that green water. What plants are those in the black Moscow? So that's a Rotalia colorata. Kind of hard to see because it won't focus in on it. It's a real beautiful plant. And then a nuri crep, Rosen Maiden, which that's actually a huge mom plant. That thing is a mega mom plant. That thing is years old. Years old. I wish I could remember the name of this plant. I can't remember the name of it. I want to say Octopus stellata, but I don't know if that's fact. It's kind of hard to tell with the glare. Kind of hard to tell. Leighton Berger, thank you so much for the super chat and the support. Appreciate you. Big time. Alright. Scroll on. Or Tiger Antler Guppy hybrids. No, so they're a mix between tiger antlers and starburst antlers. That's how I came up with the rainbow tiger antlers. Just something I created like years ago. But I've had the lines for so long, some of them have been reverting back, so I've taken them off the website and working back on them. But I know lots of people that have them in the hobby now. Like, it's crazy how that fish has just like really gotten all over the place. Like, I've never even thought that would have been a thing. And to have my fish all over the states and all over the place, like, that's pretty cool. Aaron Webbs, thank you so much for becoming a member. Appreciate you, Aaron. I love these guys. These guys are cool too. Should show them some love. Thank you, Aaron. Pogo Stamen Gaia. So no, that's not that one. Or is that? No, you may be right. You know what? I think it may be that plant. It just kind of looks different in there for some reason. I don't know. I'll have to get that out and double check that and compare them side by side. Got tanks. Thank you, Candy. Love ya. Let's see. Remember what you're celebrating? A bunch of slave owning aristocrats didn't want to pay their taxes. What? Fish World Aquarium says, what is your opinion on self-built aquariums? Whoa! I actually want to build my own aquariums. I need to learn how to do that. I actually been talking to, well, I hit up Joey yesterday. I need to make a little video for him. But he's like the king of making that stuff. Like, I want to learn how to work with that acrylic and make some custom tanks, because I had an epiphany the other day on one of the coolest fish stands that has never ever been done, and it would be super, super, super awesome. Like, I'm talking about, well, I don't even want to talk too much because I'll be giving away my ideas all the time. But it'll be like completely something you've never even seen. So, I've got to learn how to do that. So if you know how to do it, man, all the better. I know, like, over in Europe and stuff, a lot of those guys end up making a lot of their own aquariums because they're not as easy to get. I mean, even in South America, Central America, all kinds of places, Africa, they all make, a lot of them make their own tanks just because they don't have dollar gallon cells. They don't have it as easy as we do. Shoot, I probably want to have all these tanks if I didn't have the dollar gallon cell. So I've got to be thankful for that, for sure. But I would definitely love to learn how to make a tank. Let's see. Sent $10 super chat, didn't show on live chat, but sent it your way. Support. Can all killifish be hatched with Jack Heller's method? Love the channel. Tom Chiplick. Well, thank you so much if you did send that, and sorry if I missed it. Not sure how that happened. I'm scrolling to see if I could find it here. I'm not seeing it, but either way, I appreciate it. And as far as bringing them out Jack Heller's method, his way, I'm not 100% sure which method you're talking about, but if Jack Heller has mentioned it and how to breed killifish, I would definitely follow those lessons. So I'm guessing it's with like peat moss and how he graduates them and stuff like that. That is my fish room video of his, Jack Heller. And yeah, he is like the killifish king. One of them. There's a lot of them, but he is the man when it comes to those. So yeah, definitely good methods for sure. And Henry Chavez, thank you so much for the 100 MX. Says, thanks for the info. You got experience with Mubunas. I got super hard water, but only 7.6 H. Will they be okay with that pH? Yeah, they should be okay with that, because you're still showing some alkalinity. And air stones will help bring up that pH. If you don't already have one in there, you're gonna also always add calcium buffers and stuff like that if you're worried about it. But me personally, I actually don't have any experience with the Mubunas. But thank you for the support, Henry. And Dan Whoosh, thank you so much for the $10 super chat as well. Says, cheers, appreciate the hours of enjoyment. Well, thank you. I appreciate your support. And cheers as well, brother. What is the website to order from you? LRBAquatics.com. Let's see. Jack uses those storage racks for nuts and bolts, etc. for hatching killies. Yes, which is cool. I love actually that graduating method that he has. And really with any fish, when you're trying to breed them out and raise them up, whoa, I lost you guys. Graduating your fish up by sizes and spaces is the best way to go about it. All right, I think I'm at the bottom. I think I've hit most of the questions that I've seen, or all the ones I've seen. So there you guys go. Okay, Mark Dibble says, where to get those plush Plecos hanging around? I can't remember who makes those. It's been years. I know somebody in the chat will know who makes those. There's quite a few people that actually hold them, carry them. I know if you Google in like plush Pleco, it'll come up like for sale. Google plush Pleco for sale. But there's like the Pleco place that made them first. Bork says, how many dwarf neon rainbows do you recommend to keep them happy? Definitely a group of 6 is good. I mean, you can do 2. I mean, I breed with just 2. Group of 3 is good, but more the merrier, especially with the dwarf neons. They love friends. Lucas, pancakes or waffles? Ooh. I say let's roll up that waffle in a pancake. Or actually, let's smother the waffle with syrup and then roll it up with a pancake. Now you're talking. Maybe throw some ice cream on it. Christopher Jones, how do I get my endlers to breed again? They stopped. So, that can be tricky sometimes. Sometimes that happens with me. It's kind of a mood thing with them. It's either not enough food or they overpopulated at one point and then they just aren't as apt to breed because they've kind of figured out their limits of that tank and their food source and all that. So maybe more food, more comfortability, maybe freshen up their aquarium, maybe put a different plant in there to spark their mood, you know. Hopefully that'll help. Henry Chavez, thank you again for the 100 MX and the awesome support. Says, I see you got only 3 discus back there, right? They okay in small numbers? What's your opinion on the minimum 6 to 8 rule? So, they actually kind of created this whole community here. There's been a pecking order for a year or so at least. I think is there only 3 in there? Yeah, I guess there is. No, I thought there was 4. Yeah, there's a 4th one in there back there somewhere. But, yeah, they kind of created that whole hierarchy in there, so it's just what nature made. Because there was a couple more, but this blue one and this orange one run the show in there. DMC Production says, Lucas, you missed the #1 question. Are you headed to the moon tower and do you need a ride? What? They got a moon tower? Yeah, let's go. Rick M says, ever had Hydra? Snails for Hydra control. So I have had Hydra, and the same way that you get rid of Planaria is the same way you get rid of Hydra. So you use your Pancure Seed Dog Dewormer at 0.1 gram per 10 gallons, and then you wait 72 hours and do a 25% water change, and then repeat until they're gone. And some of the Hydra, not all Hydra are the same. There's so many different types and variations. I've seen some really cool ones. Like actually on this tank, just for visual purposes, I'll point you. But on this tank, there's this one that looked like coral, like a staghorn, like branch coral, and it just connected itself all over the front. And I actually just let it go. Like it looked unsightly at first. Most people would have probably scraped it off, but I just wanted to see what it'd do. And it like took over the whole thing. It was the coolest looking thing. But put that Pancure Sea Dog Dewormer in there, and then it was toast. But what I was gonna say is sometimes it takes 2 treatments, sometimes it'll take 4 treatments, because some can be harder to kill than others. What Kelly pair would you suggest to cohabit with my Shedenti and Lampeyes? The tank is large enough for more species, 130, but I'm curious what you would suggest. So, D. Kirkbride, as you may know, that is an odd combo that most people would not suggest if they were like at a fish store or even like doing a live stream on YouTube or telling people, just because it's not normal and usually you wanna mix those. But you can, and I see where you're coming from. You can't get away with that if done right, especially with the space that you have. And if you already got Lampeyes in there, maybe, I mean, I've always learned the Fundalo Panchecks have always been kind of calm. Golden Wonder Killifish have always been kind of calm. They're fast enough to get away from the Shedenti puffers, little scooting fruities. I think you'll be all right. with either type of those. I mean, you could try the amphicemians, but sometimes they can have attitudes, which could be problematic for them because they'll start picking fights that they can't handle. Well, thank you, Tom Chiplick. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Kevin Rosenberg, what's a good fish to keep outside with temp fluctuations? I would bring them in before winter, but no heater. So if you're between like 60 and 80, but you don't really want to get much underneath like 65, often your water will hold the heat in overnight and you will have some changes in temps. And most fish do all right with that because it happens in a lot of environments. In my experience, cardinal, I've even had cardinal tetras in those kind of conditions between those ranges. And rainbow fish, white clouds, angelfish, you can get away with a lot outside just because, I mean, the fish are in Mother Nature. They're in the space that they belong, where they come from, where they love to be. So they're getting all the extra goodness that, I don't know, it keeps them alive for some reason. They're more tolerant outside. Like I said, and that's another thing too. I mean, that's what actually motivated and made a lot of my fish room, was just from the ideology of Mother Nature in the tubs and bringing that in here to where they can get more of that, where they're not always fighting current, they're more comfortable. And I could actually ramble about that for like maybe another hour, and I just realized that we are over the hour mark. So maybe we'll have to save that for another day, because I do have to get back to work. I've got tons of hungry fish here. But absolutely awesome. I see at least 377 of you guys in here. I want to thank you all for watching, even if you're not in here yet, if you're rewatching. And yes, thank you, thank you. And holy moly, not letting me go yet, are you, Aaron Webbs? Throwing down a $25 super chat, says, LRB, thank you, sir. Lost my job as a chef, going into stay at home. Just landed a job as a pond tech. $50 tip on my first day catching koi. Split it with you, bro. Life changing. Thanks so much. Aaron Webbs, bro. Thank you for splitting your tip with me. Like, that's huge. Like, thank you. Like, you didn't have to do that, but wow, that is kind of you. And I am so glad that another door opened for you that I hope brings tons of enjoyment to you, brother. I hope it brings tons of enjoyment. And yeah. One door opens, one door closes, another one opens. That's the great thing about life. It's full of variables. There's so many things to do in this life. Be your own creator. And yeah, thank you, Aaron. Thank you all who super chat, all who are watching, all who smash that like button. Thank you guys. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. So until next time, everybody, peace. Have a great one.